Hi, I'm Lisa Van Gammert from the Gifted Guru, and I want to share with you how to use the group discussion questions that I've created for a separate piece in your class. Once you download the product, you will have instructions that tell you step by step what to do, but I think sometimes it's helpful to have the person who's actually done it tell you how they use it in their class. So I'm going to tell you how I use it in my class. The first thing that I do before we begin the group discussions is to have my students complete this anticipation guide. And they do this individually. So you need a copy of this for every student, and they will fill it out themselves. It's purely opinion, so there's no right or wrong. They do it individually, and then after they've done it individually, they gather into their group and compare responses. And they try to come to consensus as a group. I like this activity because it helps the group come to consensus on something very straightforward before they move on to the broader group discussion. After they've completed this anticipation guide, which is 10 statements that they agree or disagree with on this scale, then they move on to the discussion prompts related to the chapters in the novel. All of the discussion prompts look like this. It has the chapters over here to the left, what chapters it is that they're discussing as a group, and then it asks these reflective questions. Each group will discuss these questions using a group discussion log, which I will show you in a moment. So you'll see that there are prompts for chapters 1 through 3, 4 through 6, 7 through 8, 9 through 12, and 9 through 11, and 12 and 13. These chapter blocks correspond to the study questions and the quizzes that I've also created for this novel that you can get. This is the group discussion log that the group will use. And so no matter what prompt they're using, they'll use this same discussion log. So you don't need a different discussion log for each of the prompts. You just print a new one every time. And so it's the same. It's a lot easier to keep track of. You will have a number of members in the group, and one of those members will be the recorder. That's the person who's recording on the log. So you need one anticipation guide for every student when you do that activity. But for the normal discussions, all you need is one copy of this log for each group. So this is actually really pretty paper friendly. I name my groups, and so that's what this line is for, but you don't need to. If you number your groups, you can put a number here, or you can just have them leave that blank. And the date is the date that they are doing the discussion, which I find really important because if a student's absent, it helps me correlate that. The chapters discussed, they need to list, like we're doing 4 through 6. Because it's the same log for every time, they need to list what chapters that was. There's some reflection about the group work on here as well. What did they do well? What could they improve? And I have the students switch who's the recorder every time. This is the rubric for the group discussion. Notice that the number of points available are different depending on the different things because some things are more important than other things. So the anticipation guide at the beginning is totally optional. You don't actually have to do that part, this part. You can leave that out and just jump into the discussion questions if you like. Also, you do not need to use every set of the discussion questions. You can do it 1 or 2 times and leave it out the rest of the time. It's entirely up to you. If you have any questions, feel free to email me at lisa@giftedguru.com.